Red letter days in landscape photography are very rare, but occasionally, just occasionally, you get lucky. After 3 nights in a camper van, I decided that I needed to book into a hotel to recharge my batteries and the camera stuff. And the next morning I headed out full of anticipation. I was meeting Martin back in Manesty Woods, the place we've been to a couple of times, and no fog was forecast. But if you're a woodland photographer, you'll know fog in the woodlands is the most fantastic thing. And the next morning I was greeted by this. So stay tuned for some fantastic images and a very excited me.
Look at this, look at this. I come back to Manesty Park. I'm with Martin for a little while because Martin's got to go, but didn't realise he was going to be here, so it's really nice to spend a bit of time with Martin. But we've walked a different way. We noticed some vans parked further up to the right, and Martin suggested we come into this bit of the wood, and it wasn't supposed to be foggy, but look, look, and we've come across this pier slash jetty thing, and you just cannot see. It's one of those long exposure fine art kind of shots without any of the jiggery pokery in Lightroom and Photoshop, because it just is. This is how you see it. So it's a really simple shot to do. Line the camera up straight, long exposure just to blur any of the water that's moving, and everything is going to be this kind of ethereal, beautiful, look at that, misty pier. There's lots of piers in the world to do this on, but this is ours, and we didn't know it was here. Sometimes you're just lucky, but as I was saying on the way up here to somebody on the phone, you've got to be in it to win it, and sometimes you hit the jackpot. Let's frame this up and I'll talk you through the image. Simple that it is. What a start to the next day. Fantastic.
So you'll have to forgive me, I was so excited I didn't actually record myself talking you through this shot, but it's quite straightforward. The most important thing to do is to line up completely parallel with the end post there, so using the grid lines in the camera. I shot the picture, and then I've just used viewpoint 5 by DxO just to straighten out those verticals which were kind of leaning outwards a little bit. And there is the finished image.
Wow, right, so pier's photographed. I've now gone into the woodlands. Let me just show you this image because I'm really excited about this. We've got these ramrod straight pines and this mist which is just lingering in it. And woodland photography, as with a lot of landscape photography, it's all about, or a lot of it is about, the background. What is in your background of your shot. And I think it's one of the secrets of woodland photography, because it's not just the tree that you're photographing, it's how that tree is framed, how that tree is lit, how that tree is shown off to its best. And what you really want, and there's a lot of similarities between woodland photography and portraiture, which I used to do a lot of. And with portraiture, it's big soft boxes, nice soft light to make things look at their best. And we get in that because we've got this mist and the light from the left just shining on the side of the trunk. Actually, let me put you in the camera and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit more detail. That'll be easier to see when you can see it. So here's the image, and look, so it's all about really the greys in here, because in bright sunlight there might be some highlights there which show this off. The actual main picture is this tree and the curve of that colour, which looks fantastic. That's nature has done that, but I've noticed this and I've noticed this. Now I could frame it so I've got more to the left in, but actually look, there's nothing much there and it's too distracting. I might end up cropping this a bit like that, but that colour there, this background, and because there's lots of mist around, it throws this into isolation. It separates it from the background, which is exactly what you want. So all we need to do is focus on this main trunk here, make sure that's really sharp. I've got to use f8 just to make sure that these leaves are in focus, but I'm not worried about the background at all because that wants to be out of focus. And that in portraiture would be your background. In a studio we'd set it up and have it way back, and the softbox light from the left here just shines in, and then we've got a little bit. The only thing I wouldn't want necessarily there's that little bit of light through the back. But in this case, it actually mimics the curve of this branch here. So we've got the curve of the branch like that, and we've got the curve of the light like that, and actually that for me works really well together. There's also, you can't quite see, there's a couple of rocks here which I've just got to get in the image just to anchor the picture at the bottom as well. That is about as perfect as you can get it. I've got the tripod as high as it will go, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's known as a banger. Right, let's get that in the can, and here it comes now. I'm going to say I actually haven't even got my camera bag with me today. I'm just wearing this three-legged thing sling which they sent me, and really enjoyed using this. I've just got one lens, 24 to 200, a tripod, and my sling. Perfect. Here's another scene where Martin always has an advantage over me though. I think he sees in telephoto, I see in ultra wide. So I'm quite alright on beaches with these rocks in the foreground, big vistas. That's my kind of thing. Martin sees detail, and this bit of woodland here, talked about a background a minute ago. The background in this, right in the distance, at the edge of the picture, or at the back of the picture, there are some, I think they're pine trees, could be oak trees because they're bendy, and or could even be birches. There's lots in this wood, and they're in this little bit of mist, and they look a bit like the Lord of the Rings. And there's a broken down silver birch which has fallen in the winter, and its leaves are still kind of there holding on. And then in front we've got a pine with some beautiful light on the side of it, but this is zoomed right in. Now this works for me, and I was working the scene as a wider scene, looking at kind of other trees, but actually narrowing it down. And I've told myself to do this several times. This kind of works. The mist is still here. We've got another half an hour, I reckon. So see if we can't get a couple of other images. But have a look at this one and see what you think. Shot at f11, and was it F? I think we shot this at f9, 1.6 of a second. Looks fantastic. Okay, another one from this morning. Again, telephoto. This is how Martin sees. I'm trying to learn from him to look closely. But we came down, actually we didn't. There's some steps here which have been put into the side of the bank here. I said to Martin, that's not the right way, and we scrambled down the other side and nearly falling over because it was very dark when we arrived. But now the lights come out, this staircase, I love the way, the shape of it, the way it curves around into the scene. And then we've got the silver birch which has fallen. I photographed it a second ago with the last picture, but I also noticed that we've still got that lovely background with the silver birch, but some lovely light, as there often is with these pine trees. And I've said before, pine trees, pine forests look great in misty light because they just seem to glow. I don't know what it is, but it's a lovely softbox from the left here, lighting this up. I love the colours in the bank. We've got some reds, some oranges, some yellows, some greens, which I'm going to bring out. The leaves are obviously looking the same. Some dark greens, a nice bit of fern, heather, bracken, whatever, always called out the wrong thing. A nice bit of bracken that just sat in the bottom here beside the path. And there is a kind of a gnarly branch here which I may keep in, or I might get rid of. But actually I've also taken one lower down this bank here, which you can't see, but it's a bit precarious. So I've got underneath this little branch, and I'm going to get the top of the pine tree in because it adds a little bit more colour. But no sky, portrait orientation with this, and I am having the best time. So let's put this on the screen for you, and now I'm going to move over here because we've still got mist, but it's patchy. There are bits where it's clearing, but while we've got mist and while we've got silver birch and while we've got autumn, fill your boots is the way to really approach this. Onwards. Yeah, another picture I'm really happy with. You can see this level on the camera is saying that I'm not nowhere near straight, but the trees aren't growing straight. So I'm going to line up with the trees. But what we've got here, you've got this lovely path in the distance. There's a runner just gone through there. And I've toyed with the idea of turning up the ISO, turning up the shutter speed, basically just increasing the shutter speed to frame him in there, but I think I prefer it without, so I didn't worry too much in the end. That was a kind of a very quick decision. So we're going to go something like f11 again. I'm going to focus on this foreground pine, which looks absolutely amazing in this beautiful light. 64 ISO, third of a second, and I've got this so that the path is showing. And there's some people coming behind me, so I might actually do this shot with some walkers in it as well. Let's change the camera. Photographs everywhere, still having a great time. Love this beech tree, I think it is. Some lovely light on the side of it. I don't know whether you can see that. Behind it is a not so nice pine tree, so I've got myself in a position where you can't even see the trunk of that tree. It's all about this one, and it's the same kind of idea, this portrait of this lovely beech tree, and everything else is just working as a second bit, a background, a kind of a stage for the main subject, which is this guy, the main performer. And the mist is just helping with that. It's making everything a little bit ethereal, soft, beautiful, absolutely. And this has got there's a broken branch in the foreground here, which not 100% keen on. I'm going to have a look at it, but what I might have to do is remove that in post-processing, and I think it's only very tiny, which is probably why I don't like it. But this is going to be great. We'll put the camera really high again, and I want to shoot down into the woodland, into this background, into this dark misty background that's going to set off our main performer, who I think looks wonderful. What a day. Right, let's shoot this. Right, as you can see, I've got the camera really tall. What I'm going to do though with this is I'm going to put a polarizer on this, and this just helps to pop the colours a little bit more. So polarizer on the front, get it framed up, let's do this one next. Okay, well that's shot. So what I've done with this is I've composed the beech tree on the left, because as you can see the branches are pushing to the right. So I tried to get some of those in. I don't have to get all of it in, that's not a problem. And it's just in the background we've got frames of some little twisty, I don't know what they'll be. Maybe, I don't know what they are. I'll find out what they're called. Little tiny small leaves on the shoreline here. And there's some oaks, some more beeches I think as well, and an oak in the background, just acting as the background. The mist kind of clinging, and the mist is starting to lift now, so we haven't got long. But it would have been better with a bit of mist around this, but there's a little bit more this way, so I might be able to grab one more shot. Let's go and see if I can, what I can find. Look at this silver birch. Oh, doesn't she look lovely? Little tiny spindly one. Beautiful, and the big pine trees behind. I'd like to be a little bit higher, but with mist, it works because it cuts the sky out. You haven't got to worry about the sky so much. It just looks wonderful. I'm gonna shoot one like this. I am using the viewfinder a lot more, just to really help with the composition. I usually use the screen, and I haven't got a geared head on today, but I don't mind that. I don't mind using a ball head. I've used a ball head for years, so it does work quite well. Let's just shoot that. F8, quarter of a second is about right. The exposure, as you would imagine, is staying pretty even. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to angle that down if I can. Get the camera up higher, because it will cut out any sky at all. Don't want to poke it in these leaves. I've got a 3-second delay on here, which is important as well. Oops. And now I pressed the wrong button with me paw on my hand. There we go, that looks kind of good. And a 3-second delay is very important, especially when you're like this, because things do wobble, and I reckon it takes about 3 seconds for that wobbling to finish. Yep, there's a 3-second delay, so I don't know why it's taken so long. Move that over, make sure that's focused on the little silver birch. There we go, done. 3-second delay, F8, quarter of a second, wobbling, stopping, bash. Lower this down before we lose it. And still continue. What a fantastic morning this is turning into be. But while you've got conditions like this, you've just got to fill your boots. This doesn't happen very often, especially to me. It's so good, and this is almost feels like payback for all of the days where I've gone out and it hasn't been the best. So I'm going to photograph until I drop. By the way, this is working really well with this sling, just a tripod, so mobile. There's lots of pictures here. I get to the stage where I'm tired, take that polarizer off, I get to this stage sometimes where I'm tired and I don't want to take the camera bag back off and use it. So the sling is working very well to have the camera accessible, ready to go. Only works really because I've got a 24-200, so that's the lens I need for this, and it does work brilliantly in Woodland. And look at that scene, just fantastic. But yeah, it's meant that I've been carrying on photographing when I may have stopped, but oh dear. Right, next. Oh, I'm exhausted. I think we're done. Mist is just starting to dissipate now a little bit, but what a wonderful, how long have I been here? 4 hours of photography. Oh, my memory card is creaking at the seams with some fantastic images. It's going to take me at least a day to process these, but absolutely over the moon. Sometimes you get days like this, red letter days, and it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you've got to make the most of it. I feel like I have today. I really feel like my eye's been in, which has been brilliant. It's probably helped the fact that I've been up with a camera for the last 4 days photographing, so that's really tuned my eye a little bit. Found some really good backgrounds, found some fantastic subject matter. Oh my word. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday, 6 o'clock. Breakfast. Ta-da.